Look, I have watched a million business planning videos on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of business gurus, 8-figure, 9-figure business gurus, telling everybody how to create a plan in a day or how to create a one-page plan. And all those could be good, but I never hear them talking about the specifics of exactly how to do that. And I also hear them making tons of mistakes when they're giving out that advice. So today I want to make sure that you know what those mistakes are and that you don't miss and make these mistakes, because if you do, you're not going to get a good strategy in place that's really going to help you move the needle. And isn't that the entire reason why you're doing the business planning in the first place? Yes, of course it is. So if you think that you are making some mistakes, or you want to make sure that you don't make mistakes when you're creating the perfect strategy to get your business to that next level, then keep watching, because today I am going to go over with you the 7 common mistakes that entrepreneurs make when planning for business growth that you are going to want to definitely, by all means, avoid. Let's get to work. Mistake number 1, not doing an environmental assessment. Yes, if you watched my video last week that was on the 5 steps to creating the perfect business growth plan, you know that I told you that step number 1 was exactly that, doing a complete analysis, doing an environmental scan. And oftentimes I see people telling people how to put together these business plans because I watch tons and tons of YouTube videos. I mean, obviously I'm a content creator and I create videos on YouTube, and nobody ever says, take the time to do the research that you need to do in order to really make sure that you're making the right decisions. And that research includes an environmental scan. You may have done one when you first started your business. You may have done one the last time you created a new product or service, but you really need to do one every single year because the environment changes. Shit happens. Stuff changes. Your customers want different things. Your customers are having different experiences. Your competitors are doing different things. Things are shifting. Facebook is changing. Instagram is changing. Algorithms are changing. You need to know what those changes are. And if you don't really do a good job at scanning your environment and doing some research on your market, it is impossible for you to determine what opportunities exist out there that you can capitalize off of and what threats exist out there that you need to plan for in advance. There is nothing worse in your entrepreneurial journey than having something happen that you completely didn't expect to have happen. The top CEOs in this world will tell you that their jobs were to really determine what risks existed and figure out how to put the stuff in place to mitigate and to avoid those risks. And doing an environmental assessment is the only way that you can do that. And so that is a huge mistake. Huge, big mistake.
Big mistake. Big, huge.
Don't you just love Pretty Woman? Just love her. I just love Julia Roberts. Okay. Anyway, you guys know I do. I use her all the time. But the reality of it is, if a proper environmental scan had been done in planning for that business growth strategy for the following year, you can have a plan B and you're prepared for even something that you might perceive is something that you can't even prepare for. So don't make the mistake of not really analyzing what's going on out there in the market so that you can begin to create the strategies to mitigate those risks and take advantage of all the opportunities that are looming out there for you to be the first one to jump on. Mistake number 2 goes along very well with mistake number 1, and that's not doing a sufficient internal assessment. Yes, you heard me. Not really truly keeping it real with yourself on what's going on inside your business. Making excuses for the gaps or the weaknesses that you have, figuring out and explaining away to yourself why you didn't get it done. You have to truly know what's working inside your business and what's not working inside your business. You have to know, looking at your customer feedback, where your customer service gaps are, where your sales process gaps are, where your pricing gaps are, all that stuff, what your customers need, what they're looking for, what they've been unhappy with. What are some of the things that they've told you that you should change? You have to know all the details of all that stuff so that you can ultimately plan to improve upon those weaknesses. You also need to really have an understanding of what's going on with your financials. And I can't stress this enough. A lot of business owners, especially newer entrepreneurs or just getting started entrepreneurs don't have enough of a grip of what's going on with their money. Internal financial assessment is going to help you create that growth strategy in order for you to get to that next level. Do your internal assessment. Don't make this mistake. It'll kill you. Mistake number 3, not making decisions based upon the numbers. Look, I am as emotional as the next guy. I really am. I'm a very sensitive being. When it comes to being a CEO, emotions is not what you're basing your decisions on. It should be concrete data and numbers. That's how CEOs think. That's how millionaires think. That's how billionaires think. If you are making decisions about what products and services you actually want to provide, what you should provide, what the pricing should be, what you should take away and stop offering off of your emotions, you are setting yourself up for failure, and you need to get your CEO mindset together. No lie. Because the reality is your decisions should be based off of your numbers, your financial numbers, your data numbers, what you need to change, your social media numbers, your marketing numbers, your conversion numbers, all the numbers that are involved in your business. You need to be able to make decisions based off of them. On a whim is where emotions will take you. And it's not about how you feel. It's not about what you want. It's about what you need to do in order to get to that next level. And the only way that you're going to know that is looking at the data. So capturing your data, pulling all of your numbers, really analyzing them, determining where they're good and they're bad is 100% critical in order to be able to create a strategy to get to that next level and to grow. If you don't know your numbers and if you're making decisions based off of emotion, they will be more likely to fail and to not be successful than anything else that you'll ever experience. So trust me, don't make the mistake of not basing your decisions off of true data. You're guessing otherwise. And guessing don't really work when you want a multiple 6-figure or a 7-figure business. You got to know what's going on. Trust me. Only way. By the way, you think what I'm talking to you about is keeping it real, then you are definitely going to want to be a part of my Business Growth Planner workshop. It is launching in early 2023, and the Business Growth Planner is an online mini course and workshop that teaches you the specifics of how to create a business growth plan. We will walk you through exactly how to create your business growth plan and what your plan should include. You will learn how to determine where you are by conducting a thorough environmental and internal assessment, how to establish your baseline and create a SWOT analysis, how to create transformational goals and objectives for your business, how to figure out what your SMART strategies and action items should be, and how to evaluate your successful implementation with KPIs and tried and true evaluation techniques. So if you are interested in creating a business growth plan and working with me to do it, that doesn't have to be complicated or time consuming, then make sure that you click the link below and sign up for the Business Growth Planner waitlist. You will have everything that you need to get started right away, and you will be the first to know when the doors open to work directly with me and create the perfect business strategy for your business. Mistake number 4 that I see entrepreneurs make when planning for business growth is creating way too many goals and objectives. Way too many. Yes, you can have too many goals. What do I mean? Well, if you've got 10 things that you want to accomplish, how are you going to get all that done? We're talking about a 12-month growth plan here, guys. So 10 things that you want to accomplish pretty much means that every single month you need to be fighting towards one goal after another. And at the same time, you're trying to generate revenue, you're selling in your business, you're working in your business, and it's quite frankly going to be impossible. Trust me. I made this mistake. My very first business growth plan strategy that I was just tried and true playing with and figuring out that got me to the strong outline that I'm going over with you guys today, I actually created like 10 different strategies that I wanted to accomplish in the following year. And it was absolutely ridiculous. What it did do was overwhelm me. I didn't accomplish more than half of them. It made me feel inadequate. It totally messed with my mental capacity. My mental health was suffering. I felt like a complete failure. And I felt like every single thing that I was doing and touching in my business just wasn't working. And after I took a deep breath and cried and probably ate, a pint of Handel's butter pecan ice cream. You don't know nothing about Handel's unless you from Youngstown, Northeast Ohio, by the way. But if you know something about Handel's, let me know in the comments below. Okay. But anyway, probably ate a ton of ice cream and really put on my CEO hat and said, girl, get it together. Figure out why it's happening. And after doing some very thorough analysis in my own crazy perfectionistic ways, I realized that I had just set too many goals. And yes, I wanted to accomplish them all. I did, but I didn't need to accomplish them all in the first 12 months. So I had to take those 10 goals and say, what are my core 3 to 4 that if I focus on those 3 to 4 goals will really move the needle in my business and get me to the next level so that I can focus on the next 3 to 4. And I had to take those 10 and really pare it down. Ever since then, I promise you that when I'm creating my business growth plan strategy, I max out my overall goals for my business for the year at 3 to 4, because those are legitimately the ones that I can work on and focus on. If I choose 3, I've pretty much got 4 months to get all of it done. I've got 4 months to get each one done. If I choose 4, that means that I've got a goal that I need to accomplish each quarter. And it made it a lot more doable. It made it a lot more conceivable. And it made me feel a lot more successful. After I made that significant shift in my business, it was off to the races, girl. Off to the races. Let me just take a moment to ask you to do me a favor, because I am hot, I am on fire, and we've got a couple more mistakes to talk about. And it's just a quick moment to show me some love. Like this video, give me some comments, and ask me some questions about what you're struggling with regards to planning for your business growth. I'd love to address it. And while you're down there, because it don't take a whole lot of time, subscribe, because we are going to continue talking about business planning and strategies just like y'all told me you wanted to. And I am so pumped because this is my jam, y'all. So like it, subscribe, and share. Mistake number 6 in not creating a good business growth plan and strategy is not doing an implementation review monthly for accountability. Yes. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you all the way 100. My very first business growth plan strategy that I created, I didn't do this part. I didn't kind of create a game plan of how I was going to track my performance and getting the tasks done, and what my timeframes were going to be, and what my accountability plan was going to be. And what ended up happening was months would go by because I was busy. I was in my business. I was running my business. I was working in my business. I was just trying to make sales so that I could make sure I had money coming in, because I had a whole ass household to protect and to provide for. And I didn't create that plan in the beginning. And so months would go by. And I thought to myself, CP, I think you're getting everything done that you said you were going to do, but I'm not quite sure. And I would say, I think it was like 4 or 5 months. Maybe it was even the summer. So it was like probably half the year had gone by before I actually pulled the plan out and began to look at whether or not I was successfully accomplishing things. And I was appalled by what I saw and what I witnessed, because for the first time, I realized that I had missed so many action items. I had missed so many deadlines, and I was really frustrated because I was pumped about my plan. I knew that if I could really get these strategies and action items done in the following year, that my success and my money would be off the charts, and I wouldn't feel like I was struggling anymore in my business. And that was when the light bulb went off for me. And that light bulb said, girl, you need to be looking at this list every single month in order for you to give yourself a pat on the back for what you actually accomplished the previous month, and for you to begin to schedule and make sure that you are completely aware of all the action items that you need to get done the following month. So that was a big mistake for me. And it's a big mistake if you don't do it as well. You have to make sure that you create an accountability schedule. I recommend monthly. I recommend that by the 10th, 5th, or 10th of every single month, you sit down with yourself, you block off your calendar, you pull out your growth plan strategy, and you look at all the action items that were due the month before, and you check them off, whether or not you completed them. If you didn't complete them, you need to make a game plan of how you're going to get them done the next month because they're late. And you also need to be taking a look at your list and saying, all right, according to my plan, what's due next month so I can make sure I get that done as well. And you've got to make a commitment to doing that every single month. But my reality is this. There hasn't been a year where I've successfully created my business growth plan strategy and successfully followed my implementation and accountability plan and really implemented the action items that we have not seen successful growth. And that, my love, is 100% facts because it will 100% be huge. I mean, big. I can't even describe how big. Okay. Can't even talk about it.
Big mistake.
And mistake number 7 that I see will impact your ability to have a successful growth plan strategy is not setting key performance indicators to track your success and your accomplishments. Yes, you've got to set KPIs. Now, I set KPIs in various aspects of my businesses, in my business. I've got different plans and different strategies for different things. Like our marketing strategy has a set of KPIs. Our sales plans have a set of KPIs. Our customer service plans have a set of KPIs. And those are just indicators that tell me and my team what we are doing and if what we are doing is successful. Sometimes they are tied to true financial numbers. Sometimes they are tied to true converting numbers. And sometimes they're just tied to actually getting something done by a specific time frame. And that's usually what my KPIs in my business growth strategy plan is. It is tied to successfully achieving the action items by their deadline dates. And I adjusted that to 90% and have been using 90% for probably the last, 10 to 15 years, because 90% allows for us to have something happen that prevents us from being able to get, to a certain deadline. But a big KPI for me in my growth plan strategy is surrounding whether or not we achieve 90% of all of our action items that are in our plan by their deadline date. And once that happens, I usually provide some type of reward or incentive for everybody in order to accomplish them. Sometimes it's tied to an annual contest for my team or staff, or just an award like a trip or a spa day, or, lunch every Friday, or every Friday off in the following year, because it's going to impact your true desire and ability to get stuff done. So don't make the mistake. Go ahead, set that KPI, give yourself that reward. Trust me, it's worth it. So listen, everything I just shared with you was my hindsight, right? So let my hindsight be your 2020. Think about the 7 mistakes that I just talked to you about. And if you are in the midst of doing your business planning, or you are preparing to do your business planning, note those mistakes and don't make them. Eliminate them. There is no reason for you to experience the tears and the blood and the stress that I've experienced over the years by making these very mistakes. How do you think I came up with the list? Huh? Didn't just pull them out of the air. I pulled them because I've been doing them, right? So please make note of them. Don't do them. Try to avoid them at all costs. And make sure that you are subscribed and that you like this video, that you let me know what you thought, because we are going to continue plowing forward with creating the perfect 2023 and beyond business strategy for you and your business. I hope to see you next week. Until then, my loves, bye-bye. Next time. Mwah!